This is pulsating. I'm really enjoying this entire preparation. It is a mega auction, so we need to plan ahead. We need to have a vision that will help the side to do well. So we need to look at some potential match winners. We need to look at some more investments. But overall, it's been a very healthy experience. We need to first have a strategy in terms of a core element, which is needed to become a successful side. But before that, it is equally important to understand the composition of your 11. And if one is able to do so, then accordingly you can fill in players with that kind of a role. And I think that has been a great learning for all of us who've been involved in this. Because Delhi Capitals, we already have players whom we have retained, 4 players. They form the base of our team. And in addition to that, we need to look at some more match winners who can fill up the vacant slots, and then overall we can have a very complete kind of a side. I think we have done some extensive work towards this. It is culminating now to the last week of this auction. We started off pretty early. I think, if I recall, we started in September when we prepared Delhi Capitals development side, whom it comprised of players whom we felt have had some kind of first-class experience. Some of the young so-called hopefuls whom we feel they do have the potential. And we sent the side to play a one-day tournament in Chandigarh. They played about 3 to 4 games. Out of that, they won 2, but that was not the objective. The objective was to give them that kind of exposure, and then we had our scouts to monitor their performance. So the entire exercise started from there, and then I think the first run of trials we had in November. That was held in Delhi, where we invited about 30 odd or more, about 40 odd or 50 players. After we have seen them participate in the league stage of the Mushtaq Ali tournament. Then again we had one end of December after the culmination of the Vijay Hazare, and then we had the last and the final round in September first week. And over these 3 rounds of selection trials, we must have kind of gone through about 150 odd cricketers. So this entire exercise was very healthy for us. It gave us an insight on the quality of the domestic cricketers. We could also figure out, different situation-wise, who fits in that kind of a role. So it gives us a great platform for us to judge as to who can fit in the Delhi Capitals composition. Because we're building a side for the next 3 years, it was important for us to have a very strong combination of solid match winners plus some potential players who can develop, maybe not this year, maybe 1 year, 2 year down the line. Yeah, so on top of that, because this COVID issue, we had number of meetings through Zoom calls. Thankfully things have gone off quite well now, because we are sitting in the last week of the auction. Everything has come up to a stage where we feel pretty confident going forward to this auction. Yeah, because we feel that eventually it is the captain and the coach who puts up the side in the IPL. So it is very important to have that kind of an exchange of ideas with the captain and the head coach. Because whatever we as a team from the DC scout team, so to speak, we can offer them, but that will come in handy and will become extremely effective if it has synergy with the head coach and the captain. So in that sense, it's been excellent, the kind of rapport we have had with Ricky and with Rishabh Pant, and I think that's the very conducive environment one can think of when we are trying to build a side. I think we need to be very extremely fluid and flexible. The best part about this entire exercise or this entire tournament is that it helps us to unearth some excellent domestic talent. And I think that's one way of going forward that eventually helps not only Delhi Capitals but the other teams also to have that core factor involved, because eventually you get 8 players, you get 7 players in the 11 domestic cricketers. So you need to have the right kind of mix between the capped players and the uncapped players, and on top of that you have those 4 foreigners. But I think it is an equal kind of playing field. All the teams would vie for to spot the right kind of domestic talent. And I think all this leads up to this very healthy atmosphere for domestic cricketers. I'm very happy that 10 teams are getting involved now, which means that X number of players from the domestic level will get an opportunity not only to be in the team but also to be in the 11. And I think that is wonderful news for domestic cricketers.